Coming into the cave. Whoa, hey, look. Here's Caveman Sean and Xander. So before Superman?
No, Superman's 30s.
That's right.
A little bit of damage to color. See, that's already got our top loader ready. And I just keep my hands on. Now you can leave them in overnight to make sure that they are cooled down completely so you don't get page curl. But if you're doing them quicker in our 15-minute press, the glass dissipates the heat. So it absorbs the heat from the comic books. And you can feel it almost instantly gets cooler, which is awesome. And then what I'll do is I'll carefully lift the back just to make sure. I won't just grab onto one page or the other of the parchment paper or anything, and I'll just go slow to make sure that nothing has sticking. We put it aside. There's no sticking, especially here if you're doing a heat-bound spine. You want to make sure your paper comes out gently on the book. Next step is to take the book and insert it into the bag. Now, if we weren't doing these books, these ones here don't have the same gloss. They're almost like a paper. So basically, you know, the newer books out of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, you can't touch with your bare hands because you can leave the oils off your hands. I've pre-cleaned my hands with talc powder to make it easier to operate. This is a very hard procedure to insert them into a top loader with you know, with the gloves on. But when handling the dark covers on the newer books, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you use the gloves before touching them, otherwise fingerprints can come up. This one's had a little bit of ink on it here. So now we're going to make sure that it's inserted to the bottom of the bag as far down as possible by gently pushing on the top of the book, and then you want to crease your mylar bag. So we're going to lay this down carefully with support always to the book so we don't take on any buckles or any you know, impressions along the spine, which is super important. Now this is the tricky part. We want to get all the air out of the bag and seal it tight. So we're going to make a fold here on the top of the bag like so. But now there's air in the bag, so it's not going to fit into our top loader. So we're going to have to impress the corners like this to make sure it stays flat. And then we're going to work our air out so the book's nice and flat. And we're going to redo our fold one last time, right along the top of the book. And then we're gently and carefully going to pick the book up. Notice how I support it underneath. And we're just going to get 1/4 started. We've already pulled out the bar in the loader. So what we'll do now is we'll just start sliding it in gently. And if you've done it right with no air, the book should start sliding in very easily. We'll pick it up. We'll gently go down, wiggling it. Now the last bit, you can either put your fingers in and spread it a little and kind of push it in like so, or give it a couple taps. When you take your bar, it should not even touch the bag. There's just enough clearance, and it should snap in this side, and it snaps in here. I slide my hands along. You can put clear crazy glue and seal them if you'd like. Now the air is all out. The seal is up here and at the bottom, so you have hardly any chance of any air getting into it whatsoever. And if the book's not centered, here we see it's off center here. What I'll do is I'll just tap it down to center it this way, and then I'll tap it back to center it in the slab. Check your edges, make sure they're the same. And then there's our book in the front, and we're going to peel the back paper off this way. And there is our book. Turned out beautiful, looks centered, gorgeous, sealed and protected. You know, and if I would have sealed this with the bottom glue, there's no air getting onto the book. And now you've got something beautiful that you can sit on the shelf that's protected with no air, nothing in the book. That's a 1944 comic book, just gorgeous, Captain Marvel. Thanks for watching. We hope that you've learned something about how to properly insert a comic book into a top loader. And stay tuned for more information on comic books as I show you how to properly clean and press something so you can get the best look of your book without getting the restored grade from CGC. That's the key, is not to over rub, not to over restore or over clean a book, which is a lot of mistakes that I see every day in the comic book industry.